If you are an unmotivated individual, or if you're looking for motivation right now, this is the video for you. I've got 10 effective strategies to achieve motivation in any instance possible. If that sounds interesting to you, let's get right into it. My first one is that we need to redefine our dubs, and we need to redefine our results, because if we know that motivation derives and starts within seeing results, we have to see results sooner. Because if we have this obnoxious goal initially, it's going to be very, very hard for you to sustain that motivation throughout the course. Because if you're not motivated to continually go, you're never going to find that maximum result. The fix is put smaller dubs. Let's look at it from a numeric instance. If we have $1 million goal, let's have that same intensity of excitement, of motivating factor to get to that first 1,000 or that first 100. Because if you have and share that same intensity of motivating energy into that first $1,000, you're going to be able to stay the course much longer. Whatever your goal is, whatever you aspire to go to, you need to look at the process and find those same intensity manners of those smaller progression goals. Because if you have this big aspiring goal, have the same intensity whenever you accomplish a smaller goal in that progress. Okay, first one. Number two is the 3 traits of hyper successful individuals. They made a study regarding what traits have with these hyper successful individuals. So these 3 traits are: 1, they think they're better than everyone else. 2, that they have this massive insecurity of never being good enough. And 3 is they have impulse control. If you can basically conform your mindset and conform your behaviors into becoming this hyper successful individual when you actually are before whatever result that you eventually become, it's going to be easy to sustain motivation whenever you have these traits of a hyper successful individual. You got to be super transparent and be accountable for yourself, whether that's you don't have impulse control over buying stupid objects, or 2, maybe you don't think that you're deserving of that goal, or 3, that you don't think that you're ever going to get there. You have to your mindset and figure your behaviors into becoming this hyper successful individual, be it before you actually are, and you'll sustain that motivation for a lot longer. Number 3 is that you need to move. You need to exercise. You need to get your body in shape, because if you walk in, you are walking discipline, you're in shape, people notice that. That's the first thing that anyone notices, is that your physique is right. If you're fat, if you're a slob, if you're on the couch, if you're a bum, get right with your body first. Because if you get right with your body first, it'll lead to an indefinite amount of confidence for you to go out there and do whatever you can in your business or workspace. There's been studies that when you contract your muscles, it leads to antidepressants, and it leads to these hope cells to ultimately allow you to get to a motivating factor. So if you're sitting down, it's going to be very hard to generate this motivation. If you are not right with your body, you've got to get that first situated. So 4 is that you need to set goals. Okay, I know that I talked about redefining those goals, but you need to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, it's going to be hard for you to even justify any type of motivation. Write it down, put it on a board, whatever you need to do, but really hone in on the direction that you're going. Because if you have no direction, it's going to be super sporadic. You're just trying to generate motivation from a hopeless perspective. If you know exactly where you're going, and an idiot with a plan will go way further than the genius without a plan. But if you combine yourself to become that genius and ultimately have a plan, you're going to succeed and ultimately go much further, much quicker than someone without a plan or direction. If you know your direction, it's going to be easy to calculate your motivation. 5 is knowing your purpose. Just kind of piggybacking off this, but if you know your purpose in this life, if you know that, hey, I'm here to do goodwill, I'm here to be basically the best man that I can possibly be, or be the best woman that I could possibly be, or I have this undeniable drive to leave a dent on this earth. I believe my purpose is to give more than I take. The more you give, the more you take. That's my purpose. If you know your purpose in this life, if you know this purpose to generate something about you, something to increase your odds of success, is that not enough to stay motivated? Is that, I really ask you, is that not enough to stay motivated? If you don't know your purpose, really, really, really define that. I know that's a little bit of a broad question. I know a lot of people are like, what's the purpose of this life? But if you know your purpose, it's so easy to stay motivated, guys. 6 is that you need to surround yourself with the right people, the right environment. Your environment is critically underestimated. It's so critically important because the cliche saying that everyone says, you become the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. If you're surrounding yourself with bums, if you're surrounding yourself with guys that aren't motivated, if you're surrounding yourself with people that they don't know what the hell they're doing, you're going to become that. But if you surround yourself, if you force yourself into an environment where I need to meet people where they have same value as, or they have the same motivation, or they have a motivating factor that I don't have, you will eventually become that. Find those types of people. Find those individuals where they are motivated to accomplish their goals, to accomplish success, because if you don't, it's going to be very hard for you to sustain a motivation, energy, or whatever you want to call it. But you got to find those types of people in your life, and they're all around. You just got to open up your eyes, guys. Number 7 is that you got to force yourself into uncomfortable situations, because if you never go into an uncomfortable situation, meaning that you are afraid, but you do it regardless. This is basically the definition of being stoic in any type of situation. If you are stoic enough to do it regardless of how afraid you are, regardless of how tired you are, regardless of the circumstance that has brought to you upon whatever it is, and you go out there and do it. You do these consistently, whether that's going out there and talking to a girl, whether that's going out there asking for a raise, whether that's going out there and starting a business. If you do stuff on a consistent basis that gets you out of your comfort zone, it's going to be so easy to basically replicate these same types of situations for your motivation. Because if you have this indefinite amount of motivation, it's going to be actually uncomfortable for you to not be motivated. There's a quote I love that says, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. And those stacks of proof are those uncomfortable situations that you force yourself upon. Even if the answer and the result isn't what you want, you still go out there and do it. When you do that on a consistent basis, it really reaps the reward of motivation. So number 8 is that you find your little dubs. You got to go out there and celebrate them. Do something that you actually enjoy, because you don't want to do this on a consistent basis by any means. But if you have an aspiring goal, you actually go out there and celebrate. You do the stuff that you want to do. But whenever you accomplish those things, but not in totality in a common demeanor, but if you accomplish this goal, you go out there and celebrate it. You're looking forward to the next celebration. You know that feeling whenever you get to celebrate something. You want to feel that again. That's more than anything to motivate you if you get to that point. Find those little dubs, accomplish those little dubs, celebrate those little dubs, and look forward to the next celebration, because it's going to come. Number 9 is discipline. I can't preach this enough. I really can't. The discipline factor, and it does derive down to what I was saying earlier about being stoic enough, but by doing the stuff that you don't want to do, the boring things over and over and over, even if you're not motivated, that's where true success really reaps. If you have a disciplined actionary plan and you do it regardless of how you feel, regardless of how tired you are, you do it in a very disciplined manner, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's your business plan, whether that's your work plan, whatever it is, you're going to find motivation in those days. Say I got to go out there and reach out to 100 clients. I'm not motivated at all, but if I keep doing it and I find some type of result, regardless, as that first point does come, motivation derives down to results. I'm doing this even if I'm not motivated, but I find some type of result in that process, motivation will come, because I did the stuff that I didn't want to do, regardless of how tired I am. Discipline is the number one thing. If you get anything out of this, discipline will reap you reward in motivation, as you can just consistently do the stuff regardless of how tired you are. And number 10 is reflect on your progress, because I look at my YouTube, and I was at this point last year, I was at 400 subscribers. At this moment right now, I am at about 5,800. So I look and I reflect at that progress. What allowed me to start? What made me start? Was it the purpose? Was it the people? Was it this? I believe it was the purpose. What made me start? Would it be a disgraceful action to not do it, regardless of the outcome? You got to reflect. You got to reflect on the progress, because whenever you see a little bit of progress and you're like, I came this far already, then it's so easy to stay motivated. It's so easy to accomplish motivation whenever you see the progress, you reflect on it, and you just keep going. take it how it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, because I see a lot of people, they aspire to do big things, but they never really stay the course. But it really does drive down to discipline, because motivation will eventually fade, but you got to keep doing it regardless. But motivation is a big catapult into starting and getting the ball off the ground. So guys, take it how it is. These are my 10 ways to achieve motivation, because I want to see you guys succeed. If you can, smash the subscribe button, as I'm posting regularly, and I hope to give you as much value as possible.